Something happened last night that is almost enough to make a believer out of me. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I sort of am looking for answers, like how much of this stuff is real. I know there's more to reality than meets the eye, given a lot of the experiences that I've had. But you know, how is there? To what extent is it true? Around 1 a.m, the door to our hotel room swings open. And I shit you not, there's a woman standing there. And I don't really have my glasses on, and I'm very blind without them. But we were obviously like both startled. We were kind of in that cuspy area between waking and sleeping. And she didn't enter. She just stood in the doorway. And then she closed the door. And I jumped up out of bed. I was ready to fight a bitch. I was like, who do you think you are? Like, had no idea what was going on. And I looked down the hallway, and there was a woman dressed in white with long dark hair walking. And I turned back to Mally, and Mally turns on the light next to the bed table. We're in a different room now, go figure. But she turns on the light, and it flickers. And she looks to me, and she's like, did you see that? And then we both look back to the light, and the light bulb blows out, like smokes, like you could, and the room smells like burning light bulb. First coffee, then talkie. Coffee. I have poured an honorary cup for my beautiful seekers on the other side of the camera. You can have the narwhal. Isn't he cute? Coffee from the French press. Good morning. We're going on an adventure today. In about 4 hours, going to be on a plane to Medford, Oregon. So kind of a crazy story behind this. I was randomly looking at images of Mount Shasta one day between conference calls. I have no idea why. It's not something I'd ever done before. And it randomly popped into my head that morning, like, I have to go to Mount Shasta. And was looking at pictures of this mountain all day long. And I went to sound healing that night, and the instructor pulled me aside, and she handed me a folded up piece of paper. She stuck it into my purse and was like, look at this when you get home. I'm not sure it's for you, but I feel like you might be the right person for this. And I opened it when I got home, and lo and behold, it was an invitation to her annual retreat at Mount Shasta. And I was like, I never know when something like that happens. Is it synchronicity? Is it manifesting? Or is it precognition? Like, how do you tell? How do you tell? I don't know, but I was super freaking jazzed, and I knew that meant go. So that's what we're doing. We're going to Mount Shasta, home of the Lemurian. So if you don't know, Mount Shasta is considered like the sister city to Sedona. It's a ley line thing, you know, those crazy woo-woo new age people, of which I am certainly not one. People will also tell you that Mount Shasta is home to a race of interterrestrials, so not extraterrestrials, not space, but interterrestrials, called Lemurians. And they are high vibrational beings that exist in a slightly different dimension. So can't necessarily see them, but they live under the mountain in the lost city of Telos. And I don't know if we're going to go looking for it. I have no idea, to be honest, really what I've signed up for. It's like a bunch of spicy 50 and 60-year-old yogis and me. I don't know how I end up in the circles that I do sometimes, but I'm so grateful. Thank you, universe, for surrounding me with magical people. I am blessed. So yes, let us embark upon this quest together. Let us venture forth and see what Mount Shasta has to offer. All right, ready to roll and rock. I like to dress like a trash bag when I travel. I look like Gandalf the Grey if he was homeless.
Hello, my name's Kiara, and I'm aesthetic as f***.
Okay, so arrived safely in Medford, Oregon. I'm using that word a little liberally. I swear to God, the pilot was drunk. It was the most terrifying landing of my life. But that aside, now arrived safely and waiting for my fellow Sidonians to arrive and pick me up. Really excited. It is absolutely gorgeous here, and I can't wait to see the mountain.
Welcome to Mount Shasta. This is one of the most sacred spaces in all of North America. These ancient trees, of which I'm going to offer some tobacco, have protected this space for a long, long time. It's been believed since, I believe it was the early 1900s, 1904, 1905, of the metaphysical attributes that are offered here in Shasta. Personally, I think this is one of the most pristine spaces on the planet that are left, that are somehow protected energetically. It's very quiet here. It's not commercial. I pray it stays that way. The Telosians are ancient Lemurians. This is a beautiful Lemurian crystal that has striations on it that when you rub your hands in meditation or hold this crystal, it connects you and carries you into the Akashic records, into your past lives. And it's just simply a magical place, a great treasure.
Oh, crazy hair. Good morning. Day 2. And yesterday when we landed, we all left the airport, drove up the side of the mountain, sort of set our intentions. We held an opening ceremony, gave thanks. And then today we are first going out to this incredible meadow that we visited yesterday. I'm really excited to see it in the morning light. And Mally is going to lead some teachings on Lemurian history, and we're going to do a guided meditation, have some silent time on the mountain. I'm going to bring my drone and see if there's a place where I can legally fly it here. Hopefully get some cool footage that way. And then this afternoon, we are meeting with this sort of like local sensation. She's written a ton on the Lemurians, on Shasta, and she's going to take us to a portal where I think we're going to do something like shamanic journeying. So it's like active imagination. If we go to Telos, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Let's look at, even though Lemuria came before Atlantis, we're not going to spend as much moments here for a moment on Atlantis. But you kind of need a base of why Lemuria is so special. So Lemurians in each civilization, when it was chosen that that continent would go down into hiding, notice what I said, it went down into hiding. So that's what's under Mount Shasta. It's also connected to the islands in Hawaii. But the Lemurian continent was so huge that people don't understand it covered almost half the globe if you went into all these different nations and whatnot. So the next great civilization of humanity was Atlantis. And it could have become even greater. You know, everything is the eyes of the beholder. But what happened with Atlantis that did not ever happen in Lemuria is that there was no reverence for anything. And that's what went wrong with Atlantis. The technology was high tech. There was no connection in time to nature and reverence. And that's why that civilization went by the wayside. You look at our life now, and a lot of esoteric teachers are worried that that's what's going to happen to us right now. So we're on a cusp. I'm going to believe that people are going to wake up somehow, and the people who don't wake up this is in the prophecies, will be taken to another place in the galaxy, but Earth is going to be protected and it will wake up. But it's who's going to be allowed to stay here. But it's about reverence, and everything in our life is about reverence. Lemurians were the race of people that honored the earth the most. So to me, I can take like all the great shamans on this planet were started out in Lemuria on planet Earth, because they honor the earth. They live their life through the earth. They read, they see, they are connected. They realize that oneness. They breathe balance. How's that for just 2 words? Lemur, Lemur, means ghost. It translates to ghost. So the Roman translation of Lemur, Lemure, is ancestral spirits. So here and in Lemuria, isn't that just the one word says everything? They're ghost spirits that we cannot see, but they're here. The Lemurians had something that in this book I have, it explains that Lemurians had microchipping. Isn't it interesting? Check this out. So we microchip our dogs and our animals so that we can always find them if they get lost. Each one of us with Lemurian roots has our own microchipping. What do you think it is? We're already microchipped. If you're here and you came to Shasta and you connect with me, and what do you think it is?
Is it in your third eye?
It's your third eye. You already have that crystal in your third eye that is basically, in our culture, you're already microchipped. It's why we all find each other. And that's really what it is. It's not that Deborah May's going to go get lost, but there's something that we know connects the two of us, and it goes for each one of us. It goes for each one of you.
Something happened last night that is almost enough to make a believer out of me. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I sort of am looking for answers, like how much of this stuff is real. I know there's more to reality than meets the eye, given a lot of the experiences that I've had. But you know, how is there? To what extent is it true? A lot of people will go to Sedona not knowing anything about where a lot of these like new age ideas come from, and to them, people in Sedona just sound batshit crazy. And I understand that, but I also understand where the Sedona people are coming from. And so I'm personally trying to gauge like where I fall on the spectrum. And so last night, Mally and I had talked until like midnight. And the last conversation we had before we went to bed was me saying that I really wanted to know to what extent that this was real. And I had been talking to her about her experiences with seeing like things from the other side, from the spirit world. And she shared a couple of stories. And then we went to bed. And the last thing that I said to her was something like, if this world is real, like if there is more to reality than what most people seem to believe, I want to be a part of that world. Like I want to know more than anything. That's why I came to Sedona. And so around 1 a.m, the door to our hotel room swings open. And I shit you not, there's a woman standing there. And I don't really have my glasses on, and I'm very blind without them. But we were obviously like both startled. We were kind of in that cuspy area between waking and sleeping. And then she didn't enter. She just stood in the doorway. And then she closed the door. And I jumped up out of bed. I was ready to fight a bitch. I was like, who do you think you are? Like, had no idea what was going on. And I looked down the hallway, and there was a woman dressed in white with long dark hair walking. I was like, I'm going to go after her. And Mally was like, don't leave me. And I turned back to Mally, and Mally turns on the light next to the bed table. We're in a different room now, go figure. But she turns on the light and it flickers. And she looks to me and she's like, did you see that? And then we both look back to the light, and the light bulb
blows out, like smokes, like you can, it like, and the room smells like burning light bulb, which electrical activity like that is supposed to be a signal of, things from the spirit world. And I was like, no way. And I'm like, okay, logic, need to tap into the left brain. What happened? And so I called the front desk and I asked them, is there a possibility that someone could have gotten a copy of the key? And they're like, no, we gave out 2 copies. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Because my thought was that maybe they made another one of the cards and didn't realize that 208 was taken, like something happened when they were organizing the rooms or whatever. And so they just accidentally given someone a key to a room that was already being used. But then I was like, in that case, she would have gone back to the lobby and returned the card. Like if you walked in on people sleeping and you're like, what the hell, right? That would be what made sense. And no one was up there and no one was issued a card that night past even close to the time that we were so rudely awakened. And so after we settled down, I don't think we fell asleep until like 4 a.m. But I asked Mally if she wanted to pull a card. So if you're not familiar, cards, oracle cards and tarot cards, they're a form of divination. They're just really a tool for your intuition. And I was like, let's pull a card and see what happens. And she picks a deck from the tour guide that we're working with. And she pulls out a card. She didn't actually pull out a card. It flew out of the deck. And it was the Halls of Death. And I was like, that is so ominous. Still not convinced that it's a spirit. And I honestly don't know, but I can't think of another possibility. I mean, I can. It's someone would have had to magically have had our room key. And the light thing, I don't know. Breathe. And so the next morning, we're telling the other people in our group about it, and one of them goes up to the people at the front, and she asks, do you have any spirit activity here? And they were like, oh yeah, we've got 2. We have a woman named like Sherry or something, who's I guess the one we saw, and then a dude named George, and they open doors and they blow out lights, and we see them pretty frequently. I'm getting ringing in my ears. So yeah, that was an adventure, and apparently, and as it was explained to me, spirits get stuck here when they don't realize that they're dead. And Mally is a trained. She calls herself a medicine woman, but she trained with the Kogi shaman. She trained with she trained with the Kogi in South America, and she's trained with various shaman in Arizona. So a big part of shamanism is helping people cross over. And so I guess we're going to see if we can't get in touch tonight and help get this person over the finish line, into the light. I have no idea, but I mean, it's funny. Like I came here the same reason I came to Sedona, looking for answers, and I feel like maybe a step closer. It's been an adventure. Anyway, I'll keep you updated if anything happens tonight.
This on? Yeah, awesome. So I missed this yesterday because I stayed in the hotel room, but Mally and the rest of the group released the ghosts. They helped them over to the other side, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that.
So, hi. It was really very much an honor, even though it was a little bit of a shake-up in the middle of the night, when a being and a spirit named Shirley. The hotel has a spirit named George as well, but it was Shirley that came to visit Kiara and I, and their energy is stuck here between worlds, and they can't get to the other side. So sometimes spirits and energy forms just need a lift and a little bit of a push to get into the light. So yesterday when we went out to the portal, a big, powerful portal here in Mount Shasta to Telos, it was a great place to do it because there's so much light. It's right under the base foothills of Shasta. And we focused on connecting with our higher self. We could see beautiful pink and really violet flame light coming in to our viewing screen, our third eye. And we focused on this light of Shirley that was here on this side, and really just tried to raise our vibrations and energetically through our bodies, lift ourselves energetically up and just gently push Shirley off into the light. We also called in Archangel Michael. He'll always help entities and energetic beings move on and transform. And our bodies felt a release, I would say, and a lightness. And I really believe that they moved on to the light. So very interesting stuff. It's always fun to help. Just because you don't see the energy in form doesn't mean the energy's not there.
Mhm.
So I have people all around me right now. Just because you can't see them or I can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. So tapping into that energy is a practice. And if you want to learn more about it, get in touch with Kiara because she is having a ball. We are on a roller coaster and it's so much fun. So I hope that helps anybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the ghosts did not bother us last night. No
They
one
did
came
not.
in,
We
so I
slept
think they moved
soundly.
over.
I
Yeah.
think they did.
You know that feeling when you get home after a long trip and it just feels so good. And I'm like, yeah, adventures are great, but then you come home and you're like, I built this space. I love this place. It feels so good. Also, like, do you get that thing where when you come home after you've been away for a while and you like walk in and it smells so good? It's like you get hit with a wave and you're like, and it just, it's so comforting. Like, do you get that? Or am I just a weirdo who thinks she smells good? Home. Maybe it's because I'm a Cancer rising, but I really don't think it gets any better. Wait. Yes. Okay, I lied. It got better. So that trip was amazing. Those women were so much fun. Just that entire group. Look, don't tell anyone, but they are more fun than any of the 20-something-year-olds I know, and it's because they're just living so fully. I feel like people in our 20s, we tend to fall into one of two camps. One is like still living at home with the parents, can't figure out what we want to do career-wise, sort of just like stagnant, and are like, someone please teach me how to adult because I don't know what I'm doing. And then on the other hand, there's people, those of us who overwork, are uninspired, and are trying to live up to the expectations of the outside world. And it can be very draining. And it's so refreshing to be around these people who, it's like they just, I can tell they recognize the human experience for the gift it is, and they are taking it for a ride. Like, I didn't incorporate this into the vlog because I was trying to keep it PG, but these women, like if they were Powerpuff Girls, they would be made out of vodka, tantric sex, magic crystals, a sprinkle of like extraterrestrial DNA, and a whole lot of love. They just have it so right, I feel like. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed about them was that they have such interesting ideas. I love being around people who have different notions of what reality is all about. And when you start exploring spiritual circles, you encounter all kinds of different ideas. And I loved learning. I love like learning about what people believe and sort of viewing things through their lens and their headspace. And I know that the esoteric stuff doesn't like vibe with a lot of people. I know a lot of people are like, oh, woo-woo nonsense, but you have to wonder, and this is why I keep coming back to it, and I always listen with an open mind and realizing that I don't know a goddamn thing, so I may as well listen. These ideas are found all over the world. If we look at esoteric traditions throughout history, they've all been telling us kind of the same basic things, just in the different languages and symbols of their respective cultures. And I feel like if so many people have said the same thing, you know, maybe there's a grain of truth to it. And then the other part of this is that a lot of the things that were once considered nonsense are gaining traction in the mainstream. And meditation was the first one that really picked up. Like meditation 40 years ago was, again, like it's kind of nonsense. It's only within like the past 10, 15, maybe 20, not quite though, that's really become actually an industry. And now things like manifesting and Reiki are entering the mainstream. Manifesting you can find in self-help books everywhere now. And Reiki is being used in hospitals. And so I think that we're going to see a lot more of this being normalized. And we talk a lot about the scientific part of this on this playlist, where we really do explore the work of people who are bridging spirituality and science, or science and esoterica, however you want to look at it. But it's really interesting to note, that the things that Buddhists and Hindus were talking about thousands of years ago, now quantum physicists are like, maybe these people are onto something. So just food for thought. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I had a lot of fun making it, and I think I'm actually going to do more videos in this style. Normally I do a lot of research, and it's almost like not like a lecture, that sounds bad, but it's like a research paper that I'm delivering. With my castle wall over there, and we'll still do some of that, but I also want to incorporate like these like vlogs, like actually out in the world experiences, because I live in such a beautiful place full of beautiful people, and then I want to bring some of those people onto Ideas X and do interviews with them, these different mystics, seers, and shamans. So lots of things that I'm jazzed about. If you want to see anything in particular, let me know. And yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and until next time, stay blessed.